Hey everybody. I just got everything set up now. So tonight we got a guest with us. My cousin Shasta, she might be on here in a little bit. I'm not sure. I hadn't heard from her in a few hours, so she'll come in when she get a chance. Next Sunday we do have let's see here. We got Neil coming on for his story time. He's also got some good stories. And the 30th of July, we got Aaron. He's coming back on. I reached out to him the other day, and he said he'll come on and tell some stories and stuff. He's got some good ones too, and it's very, very interesting to listen to also. We will be going to the clinic 11th of August. We've got several people going with us. We actually got all our spots filled up. They filled up fast this time. We are working on going to 2 different places. One of them is Fort Macon, North Carolina, down next to the coast. Well, it is at the coast. Then we're also going to be working on getting the battleship again. Also, probably won't be next year, maybe the year after that, because it's too close together for 2 different big events like that. But Fort Macon is awesome place to go to. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Just outside enjoying the no rain
Yeah.
for once.
So I've been talking to Fort Macon people. I still can't figure out their schedules, their permit thing.
I don't understand it either, and I figured I'd wait until tomorrow and call them and try to get somebody, because the only thing I could see was where you email them and email them your questions, but I didn't see like an actual number where you can get a person.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm going to try to get in touch with them again and see what the deal is. He told me, but I forgot it as soon as I turned around and walked out the door, so I forgot what he told me. I was too excited about talking to him.
Well, it doesn't make sense on the thing. It doesn't make sense whether they're charging just for the building, if they're charging per person, if that price is per person, or if that price is just for the building, and then you can have a certain amount of people. Their fee structure really doesn't make any sense, because you got to get a permit. So that's what the fee is for, is the permit.
Yeah,
a special use permit.
And then they got to submit it to the state, and they got to approve it.
Right.
Everything. You got to come back and get everything like that started.
Exactly. If y'all hear me scream, it's because I've done got a spider on me.
Hey there, Tracy. How you doing? Tracy says I'm late.
Hey, Tracy.
I've got everything done went over with, so I'm gonna bring our guest up now. So he's in the backstage waiting patiently. So here, let me find my button. There we go. Hey there, buddy.
How you doing?
Hey, long time no see.
Yep. Yep. And I guess Enigma Cons isn't going to be going on anymore.
No, that's what I hear.
But I'll be there November. Back over to St. Albans. They're putting on another event or something. And they're trying to get it started, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to be going over there in November. As soon as they get the details worked out, they said they'd get back in touch with me.
Well, hopefully we're going to do that one day. We're going to get us an event, and we're going to have you in our event. We're just
Yeah.
working on it. We got some plans for some stuff to hopefully 2025.
Yeah.
I think we've got a big event with another 2 groups, but it's going to be up north am I right to say it's in Iowa? Is that where it was at?
I think
So
so.
we're trying to work with a con up in Iowa. So it'll be a first time for that. So
Yeah.
we'll be looking for some people then.
Well, if I look like I've been rode hard and put away wet, I have. I was in the asylum last night.
I saw you back out there. How's it going?
It was pretty good last night. I mean, it wasn't the activity that I'm used to, but I think it was enough because I feel like I've been. I told him
Well,
I've been
I heard
hit.
that
Feel like I've been hit by a truck.
I heard that somebody that was there still doesn't like you. Is that what you said?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
guess they don't forget. Old
The
beef is
one.
the same beef, right?
Yep. The one down in the Civil War section I found years ago.
That's
Tracy
just
said,
a
And
creepy place down in there anyway.
Tracy
yeah,
said close to her, Shasta, Iowa.
Yeah, it sure is, Tracy.
well, that last night they started me on word 4. I guess it was since I came back. I had to get the draw to go to the 4th floor first,
Right.
and then I started up there, and I was telling Jonathan I was giving my tour, and I started down Ward S, and the group. I kind of turned, and I saw the shadow figure go from right to left and go over in toward R. Is what it looked like, and the whole group saw it. So we got down there, went over into R, and then you could see somebody pacing back and forth all the way at the end of Ward R.
I'm pretty good there, Baker, buddy. Thank you for coming in, bud. Thank you too, Tracy, for coming in.
But that was the way the night started, and I mean I had just started the tour,
Mm.
then went over to V&T and saw a figure in V, then saw another figure over in T. So I was like, this is going to be a good night. And then it slowed down.
It definitely, when I went, did not disappoint. I could tell you that was one place that we had always wanted to go. So we went up as a group. There was, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us. And that was the first time we ever had flashlights turned on and off. And I would not have believed a flashlight, the on and off thing, if I hadn't seen it. And that was with a dollar store light, one of the kind of like touch lights.
Yeah.
And it was sitting like 15 feet down the hall from us, so nobody could get to it. And that thing was coming on and off with questions. I mean, it was like, good grief, this is just too scary. But we kept on. First time I've ever seen somebody scratched because they were being very disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming out the door, and
Tra-
they were not the last ones to come out the door. They were maybe 3 more people behind this girl. And all of a sudden she screamed out, and I'm like, what the heck? And when she came out, she had scratches on the inner part of her lower arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I mean, you probably should keep your mouth shut, because this isn't a place you want to do that in.
yeah.
She was talking smack, and it got back to her.
That's one of the
Tra-
places you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Tracy wants to know what place he talking about. She missed it.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Trans-Allegheny, yeah. I lost. Yeah. Like I told him a while ago, I'm wanting to go up there. I've been wanting to ever since I found out about the place.
I think my favorite part is, I don't know if they still do it the same way, but when you get there, you don't just go, you get committed for the night and you
Yeah.
get what you're committed for. And some of the things that they would commit you for were some of the most bizarre, like, I mean, things that are just like normal run of the mill stuff you do every day. And that was something back then that would get you committed to a mental institution. Like if your husband didn't want you anymore, could just get committed to a mental institution.
Yeah.
Yep. There
She's
was a story that a guy actually brought his wife and had his girlfriend with him and
Yeah.
had her mad. And he told the doctor, he said, they've been best friends forever. I don't know what's got into her. This She just went crazy. And they put her in and he left with his girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff it was just weird stuff that you're like, well, gosh, we do that every day. And, but they
Kicked in
give
the
you a
head.
listing of things that you could, yeah, kicked in the head by a horse.
Yeah, kicked
Was
in the
it
head
that
by a
one?
horse. Female trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh Lord, I can't remember all of them anymore. I used to have them almost the whole list memorized.
Yeah. And they actually give you a reason why you're being committed and like a little
Mhm.
piece of paper or certificate or something showing,
Yeah,
this is why you're being committed to the asylum. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's what I thought that was the neatest part. The
Tracy said
stairs are
that's
not the neatest part.
Tracy said that's her bucket place that she wanted to
Road trip, girl.
go.
I'm just doing one or two a month is all I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll probably end up being more. I
I
know
was
how
going to
I am.
say,
I
knowing
just don't.
you,
I just don't want it to. How do I put this? I don't want it to take over like it did last time. You know, I still like to be able to go and do other stuff. Um, I'm supposed to go to, oh, dang it, Octagon Hall.
oh, yeah.
Um, John Marshall's a good friend of mine, and he was setting that up. I don't know if I think they went, and then they're going to go again, and I'm going to go the next time. We did a thing. I can't remember the name of the building, but it was in. It was about 2 hours south of Louisville, and it's the whole town. I guess there's several buildings in there, and the one we went to, it really didn't have a creepy vibe or anything like that. But they were telling us what all went on, and
Hmm.
I was sitting in one of the meeting rooms, and I saw the shadow go across the light coming through the door because we had all the lights out, but this was coming in from outside, and I saw the shadow go across the wall, and I heard the footsteps, and I said, "Oh, somebody's outside." The lady was sitting across from me. She's like, "No, nobody's out there." I got up and looked, and yeah, there wasn't anybody out there, but we had activity that night there too, but it wasn't what I'm used to.
Right.
When you turn the corner and you're face to face with somebody and then they disappear, that's the stuff I'm used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I would. We've been in situations where there's been a lot of activity, but most of it's been, shadows and that kind of stuff. I mean, I've only seen a couple of full body people standing there. I've never really run up on or turned a corner and seen anybody physically stand there, I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of shadows.
Yeah.
I was I was locking up in there one night after a tour, and it didn't feel right coming out of 4, and it felt like somebody followed me all the way up, And then I was going up one, and it was like somebody was staring at me. And I got up to the center section. I turned around, and I could see him down at the other end of the ward.
Mhm.
And I said, "That's fine. You stay there. I'll stay here. We'll talk later." I said, "I'm going home." Well, I went across, and I parked out front. So I was going to go out the front door. And I went across center section, and I turned to go to the door, and there that sucker was standing. And I mean, you talk about making me jump.
And David Holt said that's very interesting.
I've had, oh my Lord, I've had several in that place that just absolutely.
Have you ever been like
can't
touched
really-
or pushed?
Huh?
But they're
Have you ever
familiar
been
with
like-
you, though. But they're
Oh, I've
familiar with
been-
you there, though.
I've been punched, slapped, scratched, hair pulled. Started down the stairs at the third floor and felt two hands on my back, gonna push me down the stairs. And I grabbed the handrail. I always have hold of handrails now anywhere.
Yeah.
The one down the Civil War section, that's the one that punched me. And I was standing there with two other guys, and it felt like, you know how the air chuck for a compressor, when you push the button, it blows the air out. Well, that's what it
Mhm.
felt like. It hit me in the face, and my hair was down, of course, and my hair goes flying. It hits the guys on either side of me. They turn and look at me, and it felt like somebody punched me in the stomach with everything they had, doubled me over. I couldn't breathe, and then it felt like electricity went through. And they took me out, and I got over there and got my air back, and then I got mad. I went back in and had a conversation with that person.
Yeah. Hey there, Sean. How you doing, buddy?
But last night, like I said, going down Ward 4, I was telling about stuff going down through there, and the lady in my group saw him too, the guy behind the lattice work. And he's not he doesn't portray himself as small. And she sat there, and I saw her take a double take. And I looked there, and I said, "Behind the lattice?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "I saw him standing back there." And the rest of the group, it was just me and her that saw him, and then he went away. But yeah, people, I always tell people don't go back there because he doesn't like to talk to people. He just wants to be left alone. Why he likes me, I don't know, but I can go back there and have a conversation. I never have got anything on EVP ever back there, but dowsing rods, he'll do with the dowsing rods for me. The other guides have went back there, and they won't go back there anymore because he messes with them.
What is your favorite place in there to that you do your tours at? What is your favorite area in the building?
Oh, that's a hard one because I've got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I like the top floor. I like the upper floor. I usually, if I end up there at the end of the night, or I'm the third one up there, I have a pretty good time up there. Being first up there, like I said, we saw a lot of shadows, but I didn't get the activity I generally get.
Yeah.
Frank and Larry, I've had Frank. I had Frank tug Vanessa's hair one night because she says, "They never talk to me. They don't do nothing." I said, before I left, I told him, I said, "Vanessa's coming up. Do me a favor." I said, "Be nice." I said, "But reach up and grab her hair and tug it 3 times." She come back downstairs. I said, "Well, what happened upstairs?" She said, "Nothing." I said, "What do you mean nothing?" She says, "Nothing happened." I said, "You didn't get your hair tugged?" She looked at me and said, 3 times. And I started laughing. I said, "I told Frank to reach out and do that." Do you know Mike Ricksecker?
I
He's
don't.
done.
I
He
don't
was
think.
on. He was on Alaska Triangle,
Yeah,
and
I
then
probably, if I saw him, I probably would know who he is.
he's got several books, and one of his first books that he did, he brought to the asylum for a book signing, and
Hmm.
I asked if he could go on the ghost hunt with me, and we went up. We were up on the 4th floor and went into Frank and Larry's room, and you know those light up cat balls. There was one
Yes.
sitting about 8. This has been several years back,
Hmm.
but it was sitting about 8 feet down the wall from the door and up against the wall. And I was sitting there, and I told him, I said, "Hey Frank, hey Larry," I said, "This is my friend Mike," and I said, "He's a really good friend of mine." I said, "If you would show him you're here, do something, and show him you're here." I kid you not, that cat ball took off and went up the wall, crossed the hallway, and went into the mop closet on the other side of the hall. And Mike was just, both of us were like, "Oh man, this is so awesome." And Mike looked at me and said, "I'm not running video."
yeah.
The best stuff always happens when you're not running video and don't have a camera. Have you
Well,
ever noticed you get the coolest stuff?
I had one night, me and Zach McCormick, we had a residential, and they were saying how bad it was and everything, people getting scratched, they throwing stuff. Well, we went up to the room that they said they were throwing stuff. And Zach's sitting on one side of the room, I'm sitting on the other, and I borrowed 2 cameras, and I've got one of the cameras pointing at me, one of the cameras pointing at him, and we just charged them. Everything's running fine. We double checked, and we sat down to do the session. And I hear you like to throw stuff. I said, "Why don't you throw something at Zach?" Zach looked at me. He says, "Why me?" I said, "Cause I didn't want him to throw it at me. We're just sitting there joking around."
Sounds like us.
And and I kid you not, there was a pile of clothes sitting in between us against the wall. There was a balled up shirt sitting on top of that pile. That shirt came up and got thrown at Zach. And man, he's freaking out. I'm dancing and screaming, "We got it. We got it on video. We got it on video." Both cameras were dead.
Oh.
Both were dead. And I thought, well, maybe they went dead before, maybe we did get it. So we took the cameras downstairs and we were going to plug them in. We plugged them in. The batteries are full charge. I'm like, what? So we ran back the video, and of course it's not there. And we take the cameras back upstairs to set them back up, and they
They were
won't
dead
come on.
again.
Yeah. And you go back downstairs, they're full. And that drove me crazy. Because I was so excited. It actually threw something at Zach, and I had it on film, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
And it was Ruben Purdue. He did work at the radio station here, and complete non-believer. We were taking him through one night, and I was walking, and I always walk out in the middle of the ward because I don't trust doors at all. I've had them open up into me. I've had them slam, so I always walk in the middle. I'm walking down through, and he's got one of the video cameras, and it was one of them that we borrowed from this other group, but he's holding it, and he said he saw a hand come out and just miss me walking by one of the doors. And he ran up to see if anybody was in that room. We all heard the pop. When he stuck that camera in that room, it made this pop noise. And we're like, what's
Oh.
going on? He said, the camera just died. I'm like, what? He said, the camera died. Well, we couldn't get to come on. The battery was hot. So we took the battery off, took a battery off of another one and put in it, and it came back on. Everything was fine. And there was no video whatsoever. He didn't even get the hand coming out and getting me, and he had it on camera. I mean, he swore he saw it on, because he was looking at the viewfinder on it. And they ended up sending that battery to Sony and saying, hey, what's the deal with this battery? Because they couldn't get it to charge. Nothing. I mean, it was in bad shape. And Sony sent them back, and they said, what did you do to this? It's completely destroyed. I mean, it's like you overcharged it and it blew up. So yeah, whatever that was finished off that battery, and they couldn't use that battery anymore.
There you go.
There's strange things that happen in there anyway. It just in the middle of nowhere. I think that's where we were walking. There's on the floors, like halfway down, there's like nurses stations, right? And some
Yeah.
of the floors.
Yeah.
Hey, V.
Yeah,
Okay,
on every floor there was a
it's
nurse's
like halfway
station.
there's like a nurse's station. So
Yeah.
I always carry this backpack with me, and I always make sure that I keep my hair put up because I don't like my hair dangling down. I don't want anything yanking my hair. And I don't think I've ever freaked myself so bad. But you know the sound when somebody scratches the material on a backpack, the
Mm-hmm.
nail on a backpack? It's just a horrible sound. So I'm walking down the hallway, and there's 3 of us together, and we get just about to a nurse's station, and all of a sudden I can hear on my back like something running its fingers on my backpack right behind my ear on the strap. And I'm like, nope, I'm out of here. I got to go. Because there was nothing. I mean, my hair's up. I don't have anything else that could scratch on it. And you could hear it like rubbing up and down on the backpack piece. Whatever it was touching my backpack. Like, it's a little bit too close to my head. I
Yep.
didn't run, but I sure the hell did think about it.
The one that got me in there, and it was about a year, I think, before we left out of there. Andrew had 2 different groups in his group. There was 5 and 5, and the 2 groups didn't get along, I guess.
Oh, gosh.
And he wanted me to come down and see if we could get something going in the kitchen. And I said, all right, we'll go down there. So we go down there, and he's got his stuff. When you go in, there's where they went in to get the food or whatever, and then you got your prep area, and then back in the back. Well, we're back there, and we get a thing going. Well, he got scratched. They didn't like that he was wearing my Navy peacoat, and they scratched him. I mean, he got a nasty scratch. And then I'm sitting there doing stuff, and we had things happen. Well, it was time to go, and the group's leaving out. And I had a new Tascam audio recorder I bought, and I'm listening real time. So I've got on the headphones, and I'm walking towards the back door where the bathrooms and stuff are back there. I walked in, and I said, I hope you said something to this little red light. And I had it pointed. I had my audio recorder out in front of me, and I just broke the plane of the door. And Andrew's putting his stuff up, and he's at an angle where he can see into the doorway too. I mean, he's right beside me. This scream, I don't even know how to describe it. The best way I can describe it is, when a boar hog gives that real mad squall, that real high pitched squall that they can do. That's basically what it sounded like. And then this figure came up out of the floor right in front of me.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
it was like it came out of the concrete and raised up and was looking me right in the eyes. And I squalled, and I sat backwards. I said, Jesus God. And Andrew turned my PvP into R-rated because he said, "What the?" And you can hear my group running out of there. Well, my group, his group, running out of there. And
Oh, wow.
Andy looked at me and he's like, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." I said, "Hurry up and get your stuff packed up." And I said, "You go out ahead of me. I'm backing out of here." I said, "I don't know what this is. I don't know where it went. I don't care. I want out of here." And then we were walking out, and I've got it on audio too. I says, "I think I got to change my shorts."
Hey there, AJ. How you doing?
That was the first one that really made me jump like that in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Down lobotomy recovery, there's one down there that I've got a picture of that Matthew Floser sent me, and I saw this 2 weeks before he sent me the picture that he got. And he told me, he said, "Man, I've got this picture." He said, "You've got to see it." And we were talking on the phone. I told him, I said, "Really big guy?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Kind of tan pants and a dark shirt, and you really can't make out his face, but he's about probably close to 7 foot."
Yeah.
He says, "Yeah." I said, "Send it to me. I want to see if this is the exact same thing." And sure enough, it was. It was the one that I had seen with my eyes. And
Oh,
this
wow.
other lady was standing by me, and I don't say I see anything ever when I'm leading a group because I don't want I guess you could call it the boo flu. Everybody sees ghosts
Yeah.
then after that. So I won't say anything. And my phone is blowing up since people found out I'm back at the asylum. I just got 3 messages. And I'm like, yeah, not right now. But anyway, let's see, where was that? Oh, we were standing down there, and I didn't go through the. There's a little half wall, and I just had a bad feeling that night, and I couldn't cross that half wall. And that lady was standing there with me because she didn't want to go down there. And we're looking, and the people are walking through the figure that's standing there. And when they'd come through, they'd wipe their face and they'd start reaching for cobwebs and stuff. And I'm like, huh. So we're sitting there, me and this lady's sitting there, and she looked at me, and finally she says, "Can't they see him?" And I'm like, "What? You can see him?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Describe half." And she did, and I described the other half. And so we knew we were seeing exactly, the same thing.
The same thing.
And and I still swear that that's the one that kicked me when I was locking up one night after the flashlight tours in October. And I went down to lock up, and I was walking through there, and I got to the door to lock it, and I got kicked by a work boot. Oh my Lord, it hurt. And of course it startles you at first, but then I get mad.
Well, you take a whole lot of punishment in there from things that you don't see from nowhere and everywhere. I don't think that's quite fair. They've got the advantage.
Excuse me. I got happened. Give me a second.
Take your time.
Wrong pipe. There we go. I'm a little better. Dadgummit. There. I think that's, well, I've almost got my voice back.
I did that today. I drunk something the other night. Went down the wrong way, but felt like I swallowed that bottle and everything went down. It took about 15 seconds before it stopped hurting right there in the chest.
Then it leaves your throat feeling all scratchy for 15, 20 minutes.
Yep. There we go. I'm about back to normal. As normal as I can get, I reckon.
Well, your throat is about back to normal. I don't know about you, but
I've never been normal.
I was going to say, you getting back to normal, I'm not sure that's
That'd
a
be scary.
possibility. If you see me dodging, there's all kinds of can of flies and gnats, and I don't know what all these things are out here. It's a
Well,
nice night. I decided to sit outside, but man, there's about 50 million bugs right here.
There was bats last night flying down the wards, and I had people running and screaming, and I was laughing. I said, first thing you do is shut off your flashlights.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the first thing they do is shine it up like this.
And they come right to it.
And they fly to your head. That's the first thing people do when you tell them there's bats. And they start screaming, and instead of turning the light off or pointing it to the floor, they put it right to the damn ceiling, and then they swoop to their head every single time. Now, we have a problem with bears. We've been having issues with bears. So if you see me keep turning, it's because I'm waiting for Yogi to come and bite me. Oh no, John, it's not funny. Did I show you the little bear? The little bear that came the other day?
No.
The little yearling, he's probably maybe a year and a half. We came outside. Mom kept saying, bear, big bear. I thought something was wrong with her. Yard, big bear. And I'm thinking, really? What is wrong with you? We come running outside thinking we was going to see that little maybe 120 pound bear. Oh my God, this must have been either the dad or the mom. This thing had a head on it the size of a damn steering wheel. The biggest old bear I have ever seen in my life. And it was like, I don't know, 30 feet from the fort, thinking you are a bit too close to my house.
That's the one you had posted on Facebook.
No, this one was like 4 times that size. There's 2 of them. That little one, the one that I posted on Facebook, that one they said was a yearling. That one's maybe a little over a year old. Animal control said the only thing we can do is just try to scare it off because it doesn't know to be scared of humans. Yeah. So they said to just scare it off, fire warning shot or whatever we need to do. So I'm thinking that's what my mom was telling me that was out here. And I come running out and we see this other bear. It was not the same bear. This bear was 4 times the size of that little one. And like I said, the head on that thing's the size of a steering wheel.
Tracy said,
I ain't seen anything that big before unless it was at the zoo.
You know, Tracy said, come get your picnic basket.
That damn thing could eat about 14 picnic baskets in one bite. Oh my gosh, it was huge. I don't know if it was the mama bear or if it was a big old daddy bear, but man, it had to have been around 350.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a full grown bear, not like that gangly little thing that was playing in the yard. And then just stopped and looked at me. I yelled at it. I said, "Hey, bear, what are you doing?" He just kind of looked at me like, "What you fucking yelling at, bitch? Leave me alone." Then it turned and kept walking.
So when you went in, like for you tours and stuff, opened up or whatever, when you walked up on the grounds, have you ever looked in the windows and saw something right off the bat, or
Believe it or not, I really have never seen anything looking out. I've never seen, and I always look at the windows,
Yeah.
and I've never seen anything like that. Um, well, it's been back years ago. I had to do an overnight, and then I had the daytime shift because that other guide got sick or something. I can't remember, and I had to do the daytime paranormal on Sunday after being up all night long. So I pulled my van around front and backed up to the building, the parking spot
Thank you,
there,
wild man. I will.
and not to look at the building. I had it facing away from the building. Well, I went
Jose,
to
what
go to
was
sleep,
that?
and I put my seat back, and I was going to sleep in the van, and I just about got dozed off, and something knocked on my window.
Uh,
I'm like, what? So I sat up and I looked. I figured maybe it was cops or something. I looked around. There's nobody there. I got out, walked around the van. I looked at the building and I said, cut it out. I'll be back in a little bit. I got to sleep.
no.
So I got back in the van. I just about got to sleep again, knocked on the window again. I'm like, really? I get out, I walk around, there's nothing there. And I looked at the building and I said, that's it. I've got to sleep. And I pulled forward to across the parking lot to the other side, facing
Yeah.
away from the building. I didn't get any more. But I've been on the grounds, well, out back. We were walking down to the back gate one night, and I got scratched just walking down the road going to the back gate. There was me and two other guys, and all of a sudden I told him, I said, man, my back's burning. And I pulled my shirt up and I had a scratch that was probably about 8 inches long right down my back.
No.
And I didn't, like I said, I didn't do nothing to get it. I wasn't carrying anything but my flashlight. And we went down just to shut the gate because we'd had people coming in and out on us. So we decided we were going to stop that. But yeah, as far as seeing anything looking out, I haven't. I don't know if any of the others ever did.
Tracy wants to know what's the best piece of equipment you think for trance.
Audio recorder. You can get some really good EVPs in there. I always run audio when I'm doing my dowsing rod sessions, and I've gotten some pretty good ones in there. I did have one. There was the one out back. I was doing a session out there, and then I put the rods down because they wouldn't cooperate. They just cross them and leave them crossed,
Yeah.
or swing them back and forth. And I got mad, and I said, "Okay, that's it." I said, "I'm putting the rods down, and we're just going to use audio recorder." And told me to go to hell. And it's Class A. I mean, you can tell exactly what he says.
Yeah.
And I've been cussed out. I've been cussed out in the forensics, the medical, and the main building. And they're doing, I think they're talking about opening up the women's auxiliary, but I don't know when that'll be. But that's a creepy freaking building. I've been in it.
I was just about to ask you if they had opened up any of the other buildings other than just the main building, because when we went, it was just the main building and the wings off of the main building. And
Yeah.
I know there are other buildings that are up there along the side.
We've done. They do another hunt out back,
Mhm.
and it's the medical building, the geriatric building, and the forensics building.
Yeah, see, they didn't have any of that open to us when we did. It was a public hunt that we did, and they didn't have any of that open, anything past the main building. So it was just the main building that we had access to. But I can tell you, when you go through and you go past, like they had that office, and then you go out and like they're open double doors, I think, and then you go
Mhm.
through into this other building in the back.
Well, that building
I
is
don't
no
know
longer
what
there.
that is back there.
That was
Oh,
the
that building, they
cafeteria.
took that building down.
Yeah, it was in really bad shape.
That was
I had to take
creepy.
it down. Oh yeah, going through that
Yeah,
tunnel.
that's probably, it was creepy.
The real fun part was
I don't know what the heck was back there, but that was,
somebody broke into that and they had it messed up. And I said,
mm,
well, I can get it to shut and get it where they can't open it again. They said, well, would you do that? I said, yeah. So I went in and I did it from the inside. Well, I walked over to the door and it was locked. So I've locked myself in this stupid building. And it's starting to get dark. And I called Zach and I said, hey, see if somebody's got a key to one of these locks so I can get out of here. Well, they had a key to the other side. So I had to walk back through, up the stairs, across the cafeteria at the top, and then back
mm-mm,
downstairs, and then back over to that other door so I could get out. Well, I'm walking
no.
in there. I'm walking through there, and that building was the creepiest freaking building ever on the
Yes.
inside. And I'm walking over, and I get to the stairs, and I hear something move. So curiosity, killed the cat. It also kicked crap out of a copperhead. I took my light and I started looking around. Nothing. And I'm like, okay. So I head up. And now Zach used to pull this stunt. He'd hide in there, and they had these two big gold statues. And he'd hide beside one of them statues, and he'd let out this scream. And oh my gosh, it just, I can't describe the scream. We joked and called it a pterodactyl scream. And I'm walking through, and I'm going up the stairs, and I start across the top, and I hear footsteps following me. And I'm like, really? So I turn around, I'm shining my light, there's nothing there. I'm heading across, and I get about halfway across, and there's that scream. And I'm like, Zach got up here. And I said, dude, you're not funny. I'm shining my light, there's nothing. And I go on across and head down, and I get over to where Zach's at the door. He wasn't up there. And he says, what are you doing copying my scream? I said, dude, that was not me. And I said, did you do that down here? He said, no, I didn't do it. But it sounded like it was in the room with me. And like I said, that room, that building was just absolutely crazy creepy.
We didn't even get to go in it, and just at the door, like I said, we would go, I think that's where they would go back and they would smoke or drink sodas when we do break.
Yeah.
In between like sessions, you could step out there and smoke cigarettes, and they would do their little break time back there. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, they wouldn't let us in the building, but I don't think I ever wanted to go in the building. It was just creepy from the outside enough that I didn't want to go on the inside. And I mean,
Hey there,
it
Adam. I
just
don't mean to cut you
it
off.
had a vibe about it that was just wrong. I
Yep.
don't know what it was, but it had a really bad vibe about that whole building.
Well, there's not a single building that I haven't been in. And all of them have a different feel.
Right.
Forensics, that one has, yeah, it can get real fast in forensics. Medical, there's a guy in there that we call Joker. And I'd take my flashlight tours in there, and I'd holler and I'd say, hey, Joker, these people want to know you're here, but I bet you can scare them. Can you do that noise for me? And it's like somebody just, it's almost like a door slamming. It's that loud.
No.
And he'll do that, and the groups will be like, we need to go. Let's get through here. And I'm like, he's just having fun.
Yeah.
And then up at oh dang it, forensics. Now that one, I hate locking that door at night. When you have to lock that door because you have to look in, and you're right there at that glass window, and there's one in there that me and him don't quite see eye to eye. And I was in there with a group one night, and all 10 people saw what I saw. And there was a noise, and it was there's a metal handrail, and you can hit that with your knuckle, and it makes that plong sound. Well, it kept doing that, and we're like, what the heck is this? Well, at the end of the night, it's time to go. We're heading down the ramp, and I stopped because there's these two blacker than black shapes, and they're going like this, you know. One's going one way and one's going the other way, and it's really weird looking. I'm looking at this, and my whole group's sitting there, and they're like, "Do you see that?" I'm like, "Yeah," you know. And it's blacker than black. I mean, because it's jet black in there, and you can see these things.
Yeah.
We're standing there looking at it, and then all of a sudden they just come together, and a shadow figure forms and starts up the ramp towards us.
Did you hear that scream just a minute ago?
My group started running up the ramp to get to the top, and I'm like, guys, we got to go out this door. There's no way out up here. We've got to go this way. And this thing's coming up the ramp, and I said, you can stop right there. Now, what I figure I was going to do, I have no idea, but I figured I'd at least try something. And I said, you can stop right there. I said, I don't trust you. And it stopped. And I'm like, for all I know, that sucker's been messing with me for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, on the handrail, pong. I said, oh, you are the one that's been messing with me? And it answered by hitting the handrail.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, here's the deal. These people got to go home. So do I.
Yeah.
We're coming down this ramp, and we're going out that door. I will come back and talk to you tomorrow night. I will be back here tomorrow night. Is that good with you? And it hit the handrail again. I'm like, okay. And I start walking towards it, and it disappeared. My group run behind me when I got about where that thing was at. They run behind me, and out the door they went. And I got down there, and I have never in my life not wanted to look into a building so bad. I'm like, man, and dopey me, I have to.
Yeah.
And I look up, and he's standing back there at the ramp. And I got the door locked, and I said, I'll see you tomorrow. And I've never had anything happen like that. I never had anything happen like that again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get I couldn't get any contact or anything. But that night, and like I said, all 10 people saw it besides me. So, and of course, no one was running video.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, everything's put up.
Have you ever had any special place in there that's like draw you? As soon as you get there, it just draws you to that one particular place. Like there's something there's wanting you to come there.
In the asylum,
Yeah.
Hey, I hate to cut y'all off, but I'm gonna have to run. It's already 10 o'clock, and my phone's down to 3%. So I'm going to lose you in just a couple of minutes.
Uh,
It was great talking to you again, Copperhead.
It's
Please
good
stay
talking
out
to
of
you too.
trouble.
Oh, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, okay, try not to get into too much trouble.
Okay, I'll try that one.
That might work. I will holler at you again, John, tomorrow. Good night, everybody. I'm going to run. Everybody left me outside, too. If my phone dies and the bear eats me, then I'm going to be in real trouble. Especially if he starts with my legs, I can't call anybody. Y'all have a good evening.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
See
Bye.
ya.
But up at Moundsville, I found the guy named Mo up in the psych ward,
Yeah.
and I'd been there a few times, and I went up and talked to Mo. Well, we were walking through, and I got drawn to an upper level, and luckily it was unlocked. And I went up to that second level of the tier, and I'm walking down there for some reason, I don't know why, and I looked into this one room that it was like it was pulling me to that room. I looked up on the wall, and I kid you not, on the wall it said, "Mo's a bitch." On the wall. It was written on the wall.
Shoot.
And I'm like, what? You know? And so, yeah, Mo got aggravated with me because I went back to the psych ward and I asked, I said, hey, Mo, I said, you still here? Everything's lighting up. Everything's doing good. And I said, hey, I said, I came across the room and I don't know who has that room, and I told him what said on the wall. And I said, are you a snitch or something? That didn't go too good. I got audio that night.
Yeah.
He told me what he thought of me. It was F you. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, I was asking because I saw this on the wall. And I tried to see, I said, who would write that? And I was trying to get some info so I could go back to that room.
Yeah.
I never got anything else out of him that night. I guess I made him mad.
Hey there, Ted. How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you coming in. Also, Matt, I appreciate you coming in too, buddy. And Marcus. Yeah, I've run into a couple of experiences like that, but not. I'm still puzzled on the one that I've had about probably a year ago now, where I had a gust of wind just almost knocked me over, but the wind wasn't even blowing. Was outside at a graveyard, and it just had come after a storm, and it was real hot and muggy after the storm and everything. So the wind wasn't blowing, wasn't stirring around or nothing. And I just leaned over into the phone looking at the chat, and the time I stood back up, big old gust of wind just like blowed me almost over. And my dad was standing right beside of me, just not even an arm distance away from me. He didn't feel no air or nothing. And till this day, I'm puzzled. I don't know what that is or not. I can't explain it no more than what I just did. I mean, I've told one person about it, and they look at me like I was a little crazy. So,
well, I don't, because I know what you're talking about. In all honesty, Kyle took off his feet upstairs, and he said the same thing. It was like wind, but then he felt two hands hit him in the chest.
No.
And it was funny because his whole group ran away and left him laying there. And he called me, and I was the manager at the time, so I ran upstairs to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, don't go in there yet. I'm like, what? He said, don't go in there yet. He said, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that was when I had my shoulder surgery. So I took my belt off. My arm was in a sling.
Yeah.
I took my belt off and wrapped it around and cinched my arm down because I know they can grab and they can yank, and
Yeah.
And Kyle's looking at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "If it could take you off your feet, it can pull my arm." And I
Yeah.
said, "It's not going to pull my arm with a belt wrapped around it."
Yeah.
And that was a night that we had a kid that wanted to be a guide. And I told him, I said, "Well, come on, you're getting ready to get the real deal." He's like, "What?" I said, "Come with me." And we went upstairs, and I'd ask a bunch of questions and then listen to the audio.
Yeah.
And this kid, when we went downstairs after it was over, I went to go get a drink, and I come back out, and I said, "Where's the kid?" Kyle said, "He left." I'm like, "What?" He said, "He left." I said, "What do you mean he left?" I said, "I thought he wanted to be a guide." He said, "Not that bad." I've had some pretty. It can get real. Everybody thinks, oh, on TV this, on TV that. Okay, when you have this crap happen to you, or you're standing there when it happens,
Yeah.
that it ain't the same as on TV.
No, it's not.
And that's what I used to send them. Everybody thought I was pretty cruel. I used to send them down wards A and D without a flashlight.
Yeah.
I said, "Give me your flashlights." They're like, "What?" I said, "You have to know how to navigate this building without a light."
Yeah.
I said, "Because they will pull power and your batteries are going to go dead and you're not going to have a light. So you have to find your way through." Okay, Ward D is like really, really dark.
Yeah.
And it is I don't like Ward D. That's one that I don't like. I don't like Ward R either.
Yeah.
And I'd send them through it. And I'd go with them,
Yeah.
and then I had one little gal, she got about halfway down the ward and she looked at me and she says, "This is really creepy." I said, "Yeah." She says, "I don't think I like this." I said, "Okay." I said, "So what are you telling me?" She says, "I think I want to leave." I said, "All right." I said, "You know where the door's at? You're not walking me back?" I'm like, "No." And she said, "This isn't nothing like TV." And I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
I said, "That's what you guys all think. It's TV." I said, "I hate to tell you, when I told you you could get pinched, punched, slapped, scratched, hair pulled, hair tugged, knocked off your feet, shoved downstairs, this has all happened to me."
Yeah.
And when it happens, you have to keep your composure the best you can, because
Yeah.
you have a bunch of people with you that are basically depending on you. So, and I ended up walking her out, but yeah, she couldn't get out of that ward fast enough.
Yeah. I had my initiation at St. Albans. They made us walk down that one dark hallway with no lights on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it being first or in the middle of the pack, but I was at the last one that time, and I was walking, and I thought, if y'all don't get going, I'm gonna run over plumb top of y'all. I said, "This ain't the place to start slowing down." And I wasn't scared. It's just something there behind me walking like it didn't have no shoes on. You hear her bare feet hitting the floor, and I
Uh-huh.
shined my light to see if there was actually anything there, and there wasn't nothing there. So I turned back around and started back walking, and you started hearing it again. I thought, all right, if y'all don't keep on
Yep.
trucking, I'm gone. Y'all
I
gonna be
always
late.
I used to have fun with people that they said, "I'm not going first and I'm not going last." And I said, And I told him, I said, well, it's usually the one in the middle that gets it.
Yeah. Adam here says, which hospital are you talking about, Copperhead? That is Trans Allegheny up in West
Weston,
Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah. I want to go there so bad I can't stand it. John just it was going to get him. Oh yeah, it was. I thought it was a little Chucky doll behind me because I was getting ready to move. I was getting ready to mow them boys over. I thought if y'all don't get going,
I
y'all
had that building, the asylum, is 242,000 square feet. And I think I know every inch of that place. And I've had to walk through and lock up at night. And dude, when everybody leaves and you're in there by yourself and they know you're in there by yourself,
yeah,
they're gonna screw with you.
yeah.
And
Well,
me and Zach was in there one night, and it was after the ball that they put on in October, and we heard somebody in the building. And I told him, I said, man, I said, somebody's got loose in here. We're going to have to walk it.
yeah,
So we started on the first floor and we went down and we were using the transition stairs, not the main staircase. We were using the ones in the wards.
yeah.
And we'd come up to the next floor. He went one way, I went the other. We'd cross in the center section. And I'd take the other side, he'd take this side, and then we'd go up on the transition stairs and went all the way up. Didn't see anybody. I said, okay, let's trade sides on the way down, and we'll do that. Dude, we got to the second floor, and we'd been looking. We were probably in there an hour and a half already, and we got to the second floor, and oh, dude. We're standing there listening. Okay, you're in one of the most haunted buildings on the face of the earth, trying to listen for somebody walking. And they're messing with you.
Yeah.
So we're standing there on the second floor, getting ready to go down. And all of a sudden, we hear kids laughing. Like a whole bunch of kids. And then there was this one. It was the most, I don't even know how to describe it. It was the creepiest kids laugh you will ever hear in your life. I looked at Zach, he looked at me, and I said, daytime will find him. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That was the one night that, oh man, I think it was payback for all the people that had been in there or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'd never heard that before, and I've never heard it since.
What type of spirits? I mean, are you having more of the patient spirits there, or even the doctors and the nurses that work there, or is just mixture?
It's a mixture. There's a nurse up on the fourth floor that she gets mad when you leave cigarettes,
Yeah.
and I forgot about that. And I left Frank and Larry some cigarettes,
Yeah.
and they weren't talking. I got talking to Brandy, and that's what I was thinking about. I got talking to Brandy, and I told her, I said, hey, I said, I left Frank and Larry cigarettes, and I said, it felt wrong walking out of there. I said, somebody was right up on me all the way out of V. And she started laughing. She said, you left them cigarettes. I said, well, yeah, I always do. She says, you don't remember the nurse? I'm like, oh, shit. That might be why they weren't talking, because I left cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I walked out of there, and it did. It felt like somebody was breathing down my neck all the way out of Ward V. And when there's one spirit up there that when he follows you, you don't feel creeped out.
Yeah.
you know he's back there and he's walking, and you can hear him walking, and you can turn around and talk, and then it'll stop. This one, yeah, I turned around several times coming up Ward V because I just knew it was there. And yeah. And then Ward R is the one that I'll walk it if I have to,
Yeah.
but I just assume not. And that's where Nick and Katrina saw their cameraman when they did that lockdown when they were at the asylum. Their
Yeah.
cameraman, and I've seen this with my eyes. It's on the ground, and it's just a black mass that moves, and it'll go towards the. It goes towards the transition hall, and then it'll turn and go into the transition hall, and it's on the floor. I've seen that thing with my own eyes, and when I was watching the show, and I saw that, and I'm like, oh my God, they finally got it on camera. But it's that's one of them things that you have to watch all the shows to see what they get, because people are going to ask you, you know. And the Ghost Brothers thing, we don't go down to where they were at on Publix. Now they do on private. You go down to lobotomy recovery.
Yeah.
And but I didn't really watch that one a whole lot because I was just wasn't too interested at the time.
Yeah.
But like I said, I hadn't been in that building for 6.5 years until last night. Well, I went Wednesday night and walked through, then I followed the tour Friday, and that'd been 2 weeks ago when I did that, and then I went in last night. So, and Paul messaged me last week, and he said, "What did you do when you were in there?" I'm like, "What?" He said, "Dude, something's changed." I said, "I didn't do a thing." And I didn't. I just walked through and told him I was back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, does anybody in the chat have any questions for him or anything? We're going to get off here in about 15 more minutes. Because I know you're tired and you want to probably get in bed and rest a little bit.
Yeah, work tomorrow. Yeehaw.
Yeah. So
Got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills with that job.
Do you do this on the weekend or just whenever they call you?
Just mainly Friday, Saturday nights. And like I said, I'm trying not to be there every weekend.
Yeah.
That gets rough on you quick.
Yeah.
8.5 years of being there every weekend, or just almost every weekend, I should say.
Yeah.
I did get a few times. I got a couple of them off, but and then October you're there. I think you live there.
Yeah.
In October, that's what it feels like, anyway.
Yeah. That's crazy, you know. I'm interested coming up there. Probably, I don't know, whenever I can talk all my team members in going, you know, and get up there and do a.
Well, if you do a private, request me.
Okay. We will. We sure will.
And we'll see what kind of trouble we can stir up.
Yeah, I believe we'll end up having a good investigation that night when we decide to plan the trip.
When me and Adam are in there together, he always got the bad end of the stick because it was guilt by association. He'd always get it first, and then I would.
Yeah. We're gonna have a meeting about this. We're gonna talk about it and throw it around on the table for a little bit, and then we'll probably I'll let you know what we come up with the answer for, and we'll probably book it.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'll figure out what everything is and get back with you on it.
All right, I appreciate that. Well, we ain't got nobody in the chat now, so we got 6 people watching on the YouTube side. Well, I guess I'll call it quits, bud. I appreciate you coming on.
Not a problem.
I'll get you back
Not
on.
a problem.
Anything you want to say before we leave and get out of here?
Not really. Like I said, it's the night after the first night back, and it's like, oh, the truck has run me over.
Yeah, I mean,
People don't, that's one thing that people don't realize, how much it takes a toll on you.
oh yeah.
I mean, and if you really, like me using dowsing rods, I have to be careful because I can feel when they're using and trying to pull my energy to do something
Yeah.
through those rods. And people look at you like, oh, they can't do that. Yeah, they can. And if I've used the rods a whole lot, oh my God, the next day I am absolutely, it feels like somebody beat you with a ball bat.
Yeah.
And I didn't use them a lot last night, but I did use them quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can tell it. When I did St. Albans, when we did the event over there, and I used dowsing rods, oh my gosh. And I found one over there that I don't think they knew was there. And I got the habit of finding the one that doesn't like to be found.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm the one that finds them.
Yeah.
And it felt like they took their hand and went under my ribs and was pulling up. Oh my God, it hurt. And the next morning when we all got up, I told him, I said, man, I said, look at this knot. Like what? And my solar plex, one of them was like knotted up great big and was sticking up about almost an inch higher than the rest of them where I was getting grabbed.
Yeah.
And oh man. And the last time, well, this last round going over there, I got that feeling again on that. And I think it was like maybe he knew I was in there and that was a warning or something. I don't know. But I kept, and did you ever see that Facebook thing where they said, what number person would you be that died in a horror movie? Did you ever see that quiz?
I hadn't saw that one.
Well, they had that quiz, so I decided to take it just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even make it to the opening credits. I die before the opening credits even start.
That's funny.
You hear a noise out back. What do you do? Go check it out.
I'll see you later, Sean. Appreciate you coming in. You too, Adam.
You hear, it said, you hear a scream. You hear a scream. What do? You go check it out.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't even make it to opening credits in a horror movie.
Yeah. That's just like when I was a firefighter. You know, everybody else was running out. I'm running in, and they look at me like, "You crazy?" I said, "No, I'm having fun now. Boy, I'm ready to rock and roll."
Yep. Oh, me.
Hey there, Bud Files. Appreciate you coming in, Bud. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. Well, I've got Neil coming on next weekend, so he's very interesting too. He's a lot of knowledge person. He knows stuff and everything like that. So He's up in Minnesota, I think. And the weekend after that, I got Aaron Hoffman on. So he's also in Minnesota. He's going to be interested to listen to. But I appreciate you coming on, bud. And
No problem.
I enjoy your stories and everything. And I'll get you back on here again soon.
All righty. That sounds good. Maybe not after a hunt, though.
Yeah. I'll make sure I'll figure out next time and we'll schedule.
Well, we didn't know I was going, but well, yeah, you did too, didn't we?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that'll be the night after I go back to Tala.
Yeah.
So that's my fault. I can't blame you for that one.
But man, I really appreciate you. Have a good night, and I will talk to you later, bud.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
See ya. Well, everybody, I appreciate all of y'all, and I thank each and every one of you for coming in. I will be on next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I'll have, like I said, Neil on. He is a great guy. I like to talk to him. He's very knowledgeable also. So I'll see y'all next time.